morning, and thank you for joining us for this In Conversation, the last one of the 21-22 season. And today I'm delighted to welcome Carole Ciotasso, who is a French jeweler. Carole lives in the southwest of France and she specializes in gold. She only uses gold as a material. And she will explain to us why this choice. Carole sees her work as a way to share a message. She calls herself an author in jewelry, and you will discover her new language, her new vocabulary, the technique she uses, but also the what we call engagement, the message and the mission that she wants to share with us. So thank you very much for joining us today. And Carole, it's a pleasure to have you here. It looks like you are outside your atelier in Narbonne.
Welcome everybody in Narbonne, in France, near the Mediterranean Sea. And this is my atelier, my workshop. Thank you so much, Isabel, for inviting me. And I'm very grateful and a little stressful too. For my
That's okay. You don't have to be stressed.
So
take us inside your atelier. Yes, show us inside the atelier.
Okay. Here we go. This is my shop and workshop. And there is I sell and shape all of my jewelries.
So the atelier is quite recent because you started your company really 2 years ago, and you opened this beautiful jewelry box, I want to call it, in the middle of the pandemic. And it was a really careful and thoughtful process to put this atelier together. Can you tell us a little bit about the design process and who you worked with to create your atelier?
Yes. Okay. Thank you. So I think it's important to explain that before be an artisan jeweler, I will be an architect. I graduated in architecture in 1885 or 6 in Toulouse, and then I began to work in local agencies of architecture in Toulouse, then in Barcelona, in Spain, and finally in Narbonne, which we are here today. And during 20 years, I work as an architect, and I love this profession. Is really a passionate job, but the classic pattern sets in. The more you progress in the internal structure of a company, the more creative works gives way to responsibilities and administrative works. So I've not been able to find pleasure to a long term with architecture because I think that the first mission of architecture is to build beauty. And with the H2, my ethical conscience took an important part of my life and of my choice. And the architecture which I participated did not correspond to these criteria.
So we're going to come back. Sorry, we're going to come back to that. But I'd like first to start with the atelier. Now that we know that you have a background in architecture, you presumably designed your workshop.
Yes.
And how did you put it together? Who did you work with to put it together? Because that will lead us back to your values, I think.
Okay. With the workshop and my architectural project, I decided to project a workshop with the dimension with the committed dimension of the jewelry brand that I defined and that I created. So I project, if you want, I show you. So I project a workshop and a shop within Mediterranean and ethical, no, like the dimension, like the jewelry brand, what I wanted to create.
So the values, you're talking about the values here, the workshop and the retail space are both open to each other, and the architecture is very Mediterranean.
Yes, exactly. And with this workshop, I was thinking about different missions that it's very important for me. The first mission is to show the people and the children the know-how, because the know-how disappears in the center of the city. Watchmaker, jeweler, and shoemaker left the city center, and it's a pity. So when I project the workshop and the shop, I do that. I made that the workshop could be seen from the shop and from the street.
So your customers and their children can see the value of the work. They can appreciate how it's made, and for you, it's a way to share it and transmit the know-how.
Exactly, because I think it's very important to record to all the people how the object made now shape. It's very important. So it was the first mission in my architectural project. And then the second, I paid a lot of attention to the traceability of the material used. The light, for example, are made in France or in Europe, or even for a local ceramist of Narbonne. This is in porcelain light, made by a ceramist of Narbonne. And two, I paid a lot great importance for all the materials. So I use a terracotta floor. I bought it from a lady who coat the terracotta in ancient house, in houses ancient.
And so it's a reclaimed floor.
Exactly. And she cleans them and resells them.
Right.
For example, and two, and finally, for the workshop, you will be imaginated that it was empty, really empty before my work. So I work with local artisans for all the work, and especially for the furniture of exhibition like this, or like this. Okay, exhibition, or for my workshop. This is all custom made, and in my project, I attach a lot of importance to design this furniture, to promote the know-how of all of the local artisans, because this furniture for make it, it's important hour of labor and a certain qualification.
Right. So very much in tune, and you put a lot of importance on the local know-how, on sharing the know-how, on using the local artisans, on using local materials. And the southwest of France and the Mediterranean culture is your roots. That's what you want to share.
Exactly. Because I grew up in the Mediterranean culture, and all my construction, education, and schooling, and all of my life is around the Mediterranean Sea. So it's obvious that the Mediterranean is my inspiration in my jewelry.
Mm-hmm. So can we look at some of your jewelry now? In particular, you have 3 collections that we selected. And I'd like to start with the Montjoie, because I'm hoping that we'll see the link between your collection and the architecture of your workshop. And maybe we can talk about that specific shape that is part of the Montjoie collection.
Okay, so one moment, please, I prepare the jewelry.
That's right.
Okay. Okay. Do you see good?
Yes, we can. It's beautiful. So tell us a little bit about this arch shape, or slightly ogive shape.
So, okay, I try to put on.
We can see it really well.
Okay, so this is the Montjoie collection. Montjoie is a name given to small buildings built by the Romans outside Narbonne. Narbonne is the first daughter of Rome in the France. And during the antiquity, Narbonne was called Narbo Martius. It didn't have any water, and to supply the city, the Romans built a pipe inside the land, an aqueduct from the source of Fontfroide, and about 15 kilometers from Narbonne. And on the surface, the Romans built this Montjoie, this little building. We can see another here. Little small construction still present, aligned with each other in the heart of the territory of Fontfroide. There is vines and groves around the Montjoie. There are about 2,000 or 2,000 Montjoie in the territory of the Corbière near Narbonne. And now there are like 20 yet. And
there's only 20 left, yeah.
Exactly. But in perfect state. They have an identity form, and they are built in stone 2,000 years ago, and they are made of roughness. They are a marker of time and express the robustness and unalterated nature of the object over the time. In each inspiration, I always search keywords and the emotion that the inspiration transpose, no? Because in an inspiration, there is a shape, but there is material, relief, thicknesses, emotion, feelings. And in this Montjoie, there is roughness, no? And there is timelessness and persistence. So the Montjoie collection gives an homage to the history, the woman history of Narbonne. It gives rediscover this woman works. The jewels.
What was the function, sorry, of the Montjoie? Was it like a well?
No, the Montjoie allows the woman to access at the aqueduct, right, at the pipe, and maintain it.
Okay.
So the jewel in the collection mimic the shape. This is the bracelet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It is so pretty. And do you have on this shape? Do you have the structure? Not the structure, the texture, because you said that the Montjoie stone has that texture, and you have it too on the bracelet.
Exactly. The jewel mimic the shape of the Montjoie and also the expression. No, this is jewel we made with thick section gold.
Right.
Okay. And they have a special surface work that gives the gold a slightly brown tint. And the
you're a little too close. Take it away a little bit. Yeah, here we go. Perfect.
Slightly brown tint and patinated and brushed, right, surface appearance, no?
So you work with gold. You work with gold because it has that versatility of color, of texture, of shape. Is that one of the reasons why you work with gold? Because you work with gold exclusively.
Exactly. I work with gold exclusively in yellow gold and in yellow gold and in 18 carats gold. I chose gold because one is the most precious material it exists on our planet. It's the most precious because it has a technical characteristic that no other metal are in the planet. It is malleable, it is ductile, it can stretch to infinity. It doesn't oxidize in the air. And it has an incredible shiny and an incredible color variation.
Mm-hmm.
It's only gold can do this, no? Mm-hmm. And I choose gold too because I don't begin to shape jewelry with gold. I begin with silver, with copper, with brass, and finally with gold. Gold is the most pleasant material and the most rewarding material for shaping jewelry. For all its qualities, gold is always captivating and beautiful, whatever the step or whatever if it's liquid, solid, polished, or satiny. It's always beautiful, real. And I use only yellow gold, and it's a choice because I think there is a form of sincerity in the material used in the architecture, in my workshop, and as in jewelry. I think it's very important to be honest, sincere, and to express the material as he is. And in the earth, only there is yellow gold. There isn't pink gold or white gold or green gold. So it was important for me to shape with yellow, and the yellow gold offer this color variation. Sorry, that the pink gold or the white gold, Swiss gold, can't offer. And
so
finally,
the gold you are using is Fairmined. Can you explain to us what that means and why it's important to you?
It's important to me to use Fairmined because when I create my brand, I want to create a committed brand. So it was a solution for me to do jewel with ethical gold. And the unique label which exists today is Fairmined label. Okay, this is, do you
Right.
see? Yes. So Fairmined label is a label who guarantees fair and responsible extraction. Is an extraction without cyanide and mercury. Instead, it's a lot of water and labor. And two, the Fairmined label guarantees working conditions fair and respectable. So now there are 5 mines in the world, 3 in Peru and 2 in Colombia. And the gold I sell is traceable and is going from these means only. I don't buy gold for my customers, for example. I just buy gold with Fairmined. So my brand is certified Fairmined. And I think it's very important for me, but too for the customers, because the customers can be proud to participate in this positive impact for the population who lives only with the extraction of the gold.
Now, in terms of, you say that you don't buy gold from your customers, so you don't, I think you don't repurpose old jewelry, you don't, but on the other hand, repurposing old jewelry avoids more extraction and possibly is more protective of the environment than, you know, even Fairmined gold. So how do you reconcile yourself with that?
Mm-hmm. It's always the essential question between recycled gold and ethical gold. Recycled gold could be recycled with 1,000 years or 1 year. I don't know. We don't know. And when we are talking about recycling, we are talking about waste. Gold is not a waste, isn't a waste. It can't be a waste because it's not used for industry, for example. And another effect, there is a population in Peru, in Colombia, or in Africa. They live only with extraction of the gold. So if they don't extract gold, they can't live. Okay, so it's important, I think, that it's that we must to offer them a solution to protect their activity, but in a fair and respectful condition.
Mhm.
And then what it's too important that gold is a value, is a money. It's used like 10% for jewelry, and the other is for states.
All right.
Okay, for value. So in reality, the important is not to extract or not extract, because always state will be sell gold for its power. So the important is to change the form to extract gold, and the unique opportunity to talk about this is the jeweler, because it's the unique person who could explain what is a fair extraction and what is an industry extraction, and what is the difference, not other people. And the important thing is when all the gold was extracted with a fair form, it could be recycled, because it will be good.
Right. Now, we're going to look at a different collection now. Maybe we can go to the ESNA collection, but I think it's important to explain also that the process you use for the Montjoie collection and for the ESNA collection is different. So can you first explain to us the orfèvrerie process that you use for the Montjoie collection, and then we'll go into the lost wax process.
Okay. For this Montjoie collection, I use Goldsmith method. Okay. I use Goldsmith method. The jewel is built directly in gold directly. Okay. With gold grain. This is gold grain I sell for my Fairmined supplier. So first of all, I melt the grain here to obtain a small ingot. Then I roll or stretch. So I roll in this rolling mill, and I push. Okay.
So you manipulate the gold. Yes, you make
exactly.
the jewelry straight from a piece of gold that from an ingot, as you mentioned it. Yes.
I manipulate all of these tools, the draw bench tool, and here I manipulate gold with blowtorch, with pliers and limes. Okay, to obtain
Files, yes.
pliers or limes to obtain the jewel, no, like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is the wing. In this wing, there is. Okay. In this wing, there is in the superior part, there is like a small ingot, curved, no, or not curved, sculpted, no,
mm-hmm.
and faceted, like a faceted stone, no. So this is the goldsmithing method. I use another method that is the lost wax, and okay, one moment, please. And I use one or the other of the method depending on the nature of the jewel project. Each method do not bring the same design to the final jewel. So we can talk about lost wax if you want.
Yes, so show us a finished piece maybe, and then explain to us the process that you have, which is unique with the drawing, the paper, and the wax progression.
Oh, could you repeat, please?
Show us a finished piece of the Esna collection, for example. Can you show us the bracelet of the Esna collection?
Ah, okay. Oh, unfortunately, I sell the unique bracelet of Esna the past Friday.
Oh, you don't have it?
No, but I have. Okay, but it's okay. It's okay. So, Esna collection. One moment. This is the bracelet that I don't have, but I can explain you the collection and the jewelry. So I put there here. I begin a new bracelet this day, but it's little longer. So
you start on the paper. You start with a drawing.
Exactly. For the Lost Wax method, I start to draw the drawing, the jewels on a paper, and then I made the wall for a bracelet, for example, no, and then I use a soldering iron and blue wax, and drop by drop,
So you put a drop. You actually, what you're doing is that you're tracing your drawing with the wax, drop by drop. So
exactly.
it's an extremely time intensive process, and I think you need to go over each line 5 times. Is that right?
Exactly. I stretch drop by drop on the paper, no? Mm-hmm. And they become solid in contact with the paper.
Yeah.
This is the first layer of drop. And it's necessary 5 or 6 layers of wax to obtain a wax model sufficient for the foundry. I could show you a wax model. Mm-hmm. It's not in a collection. It's an example. It's a walk. It's a study walk. To understand, I send this model to a foundry in Paris, and the foundry makes a counter mold in plaster, then melts the gold inside the counter mold. So the wax model is disappeared, and I get the gold piece on it. I do all the finishing. So, for example, I receive these days this model. It's in gold. I was doing before the model in wax, and I send it to the foundry, and I receive this object because it's not now a jewel, but soon it was a pendant. And when I received the jewel, there is this element in gold. It's with the elements that the gold, the melting gold, melted gold, go to all the mold, to all the counter molds. So when I receive this, I must to do varied finishing, no, to be a jewel. So Esna collection and three other collection in my jewelry brand is made with lost works, with this method, drop by drop. And this method, with this method, I obtain.
Oh, we've lost you.
Yes.
I'm not sure if
do you
it's
hear
my
me?
Wi-Fi or yours.
I can still hear okay.
See,
Okay.
it's okay.
Oh, here we go. I've got you back. Yes.
So with this method, I obtain this rendering and this jewel. It's an autonomous structure without soldering. And with this rendering, this work with solids and voids, it's not about assembly. And with this work, or this, it's the ewing.
Mm-hmm.
I permit this method permits me to allow finesse and very thick, very thin, the void of gold.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk to us about where the inspiration for the Esna collection came from and how you went about it?
Yes, Esna first is the name of a city located in the Valley of the King in Egypt, and the common thread here. The common thread pattern in this collection is the draw of Egypt wedge. This.
Mm-hmm.
This Egyptian bread, it's the attribute of childhood. It's we will be seen in a style of Ramses II. So this bread, I do it on a rainy afternoon with my daughter, who is passionate about ancient Egypt. And each with a sketchbook, we are copied what we liked. So I like this bread, and I let my notebook, and then I come back, and I love this pattern. I find a lot of voluptuousness and vigor also. It's an intelligent and rhythmic and proportional design made only with curves. So,
how long would it take you to do the wax piece on the drawing, to go over each line 5 times and let it dry and all that? How many hours would you estimate that is?
For this bracelet, for example,
right?
I think like 30 hours with wax only, but right. For this for this wing, it's like 16 hours of wax.
Right.
And then when I receive the gold, the jewel in gold, it's important to understand that I make to line all of the voids in gold to obtain a good jewel, no, without
there's a lot of polishing work and finishing work to do once you receive the rough piece. Absolutely. can we talk a little bit about, for you, the relationship between architecture and jewelry? Why did it seem for you to be a seamless transition from architecture to jewelry? What are the common elements between the two that attracted you?
There is a lot of common elements. As architecture, jewelry is useful, and she has a human dimension. The first. The second is the mission. Jewelry as architecture must to be beautiful. It is the most important, no? And I think it's one of the reasons I led architecture, because I don't do only beautiful building. The other, in the step of shape it or of thinking in it, it's the same, no? As architecture, jewelry is based in a context. My context is the Mediterranean culture, and as architecture, I think the good architecture always is thinking with the context, with a territory, with a landscape, with a society too, with education, with culture. And jewelry, I think it's the same. Or, in my opinion, it's my thinking for jewelry. Jewelry is a means of expression, as architecture is able to transmit ideas, to transport us to a time, to a territory, and is the same step to thinking about it. So it's for this that I have 5 collections with 5 territories of the Mediterranean, with 5 legends or 5 stories, but always with an inspiration and an idea, no? An idea with shape, with emotion, with feeling, and always with a human dimension, because jewelry as architecture is for the human. And there is difference between architecture and jewelry. The great difference is the scale. Architecture is a big object, and jewelry a fine and detailed object. I enjoy now jewelry because I shape it. I could thinking of it, and I could shaping it, and it's very important for me. And it's for this that I change career, that I change my life, because I wanted to shape and made the object what I thinking about with my hands, no? So jewelry is able to shape, and architecture no. The other difference is the time to build a building or to shape a jewelry. For jewelry, we're talking about 1 week, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. Architecture is about 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years. It's very long, too long for me. So I think there is a lot of similarities, and in the intellectual process, and in the philosophy and in the philosophic dimension. I always say that jewelry is a means of expression, means of transmission as architecture. And I draw and I shape inspired objects that becomes inspiring for others. I hope.
They certainly are. Talking about others, I'd love to know if there are any questions in the audience, because we're coming to the end of our time.
Okay.
Beatrice, lovely to see you join us. I don't know if you have any questions. You are the jury fin here on the team, Beatrice. Unfortunately, we have, I think, a very small crowd because there was an issue with the link, and but it is recorded, so hopefully we will share it with many. Carole, thank you so very much for your time and for sharing your work. I will be sharing again all the photos with the video. It's a real pleasure. I'm assuming that we can buy your jewelry on your website.
Yes, it's possible to buy on my website all of the collection for women, children, and men too.
Oh, fantastic! Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And it was wonderful to hear your passion and discover your work. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. It's the last team conversation of the 2021-22 season. We're going to take 2 months break. I can tell you that everybody here at Pigalle needs it. And we will start again in September. So it was lovely to finish with you, Carole, and with the southwest of France, sun and weather. Thank you. Bye-bye, everybody.